Happy Monday, everyone. Carmen Broxma here with Choose Joy with Carmen. And today's card is basically a recreation of a card that I did for the Colorado Marshall fires. So what happened was after that, the two local churches that I'm connected with was asking for donations for gift cards. And so I decided to make 48 gift card holders, and so that I could donate to, half of it to each of the different churches, so that when they collected gift cards, they could put them in these cute gift card holders. Now, the ones I made for them was using a retired designer series paper, so I wanted to recreate it today with current product so that if it was something you were interested in doing, you would be able to. So today's card is going to be based on, and we're going to be using the Sunshine and Rainbows 6x6 designer series paper that you can only earn in the Celebration catalog. And so with a $50 order, you can purchase this designer paper. And I used this same paper last week on my video, on last Monday for my video. So we're going to use it again today because it goes along with the theme that I was trying to create for the gift card holders. So I am using also the Rainbow of Happiness stamp set that comes in the new mini catalog. But because they didn't have all the sentiments that I want for the occasion that I was trying to make these gift card holders for, I pulled out it's the No Matter the Weather card kit. And this is still available. You can still purchase it. But there was a couple of sentiments in this stamp set that I really wanted to use on the card for today. And I used one of them on the cards that I made for the churches. But I also I resorted to an old retired one because I also wanted to put this in the ones I made for them. But I don't want to make that today because this is from a retired stamp set called Very Versatile. But I loved the sentiment, and it says, "May the peace of God bring you comfort today and hope for tomorrow." And I just thought this was a nice sentiment for those that had lost their homes due to the fires. So let's go ahead and get started on the recreation of what I did. So for today's card, I'm going to use the Bermuda Bay cardstock. And this is cut at 11 by 4 1/4. And I scored it at, let's see, what did I score it at 5 1/2 and 8 3/4. And I am going to be posting more details about this card on my blog. I was finally able to get it launched, so I'm so excited. So I will put that information in the description so that you can know exactly where to go to find the information about this card. So what you're going to do is you're going to, once you've scored it, you're going to go ahead and fold that over. Make sure the creases are nicely, and then on the 8 3/4, you go ahead and fold that over also, because that's going to be the inside of the card. So then we are going to take, so what I did is I used a couple different designer series papers from that set. And I used this, I'm going to use this side, but then I also like the back side. So I'm going to use that. And then I used this piece right here. And this is what the back side of that looks like. So we're going to go ahead and take the heart one that I picked out, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to this inside flap that's going to create the pocket for the gift card. So let me get my stamp and seal, And let's go ahead and get that adhered to the inside flap. And I made sure and I added some adhesive down the middle, and I'll tell you why I did that here in a minute. So let's go ahead and try to get this. I'm going to have to open this up because I want to be able to get it lined up pretty nicely. And this is the only way I know how to do it, if I can see 3 sides at a time. Okay. So now that we've got that adhered, I am going to take the double oval punch, which is, if you've heard me say, oh, not that one. If you've heard me say, this is my favorite punch. And I really love it even more today because of the little trick that I accidentally stumbled upon. So I wanted to create a window here, right? Well, I actually didn't want it. Let's step that back. I needed to create a little notch here so that when you put the gift card in there and when you pull it out, it has this little notch kind of where you can put your thumb and so that you can pull the gift card out. But then I decided I wanted to stamp cut out a window. So what I did was I took this oval punch, this double oval punch, and I went ahead and I slid this in once the designer paper was on there. And I don't know if you can see, but I'll try to get close. There's like just this really faint line there that kind of, I don't see how you see it there. I kind of am using that as my guide. So I'm putting this in, trying to get it evenly, and then I'm going to try to line that line up with the top part of the designer paper here. And that was just a guide for me to try to get it in far enough where I would want the window to be. And then I tried to also eyeball it from on either side that it was pretty even. And if you'll notice, I'm going to be able to not only punch out a window, but also punch out that little notch. Plus then we get to use what we punched out. So I was really excited when I stumbled across this, and it was all by accident. So we're going to go ahead and punch that out. And now we're going to set this aside because we're going to need it. This we can throw away. Okay, so there we have it. We have a window and a little place to put the gift card. So there again, another reason why I love that punch. Okay, so now that we got that done, I'm going to use this window, and I'm going to take a piece of basic white that I have cut down to, this is 4 by 3 inches, and I'm going to kind of decide where it's going to go, right? And then that way I'm going to use that window. What do we got there? We're going to use that window as a guide. And I'm going to go ahead and take the sentiment that I chose, which says a little something to brighten your day. Because what's going to happen is when you put the gift card in, and when they're not going to see it, right? But when they pull the gift card out, they're going to see that little greeting. And I just think that is such a great greeting. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Bermuda Bay that matches the base of the card. And I'm going to kind of, I'm not adhering this down. I'm just using it as a guide. And I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to ink up my sentiment. And then I'm going to try to do this without getting my head in your way here. I'm going to stamp that down. And there we go. Now I can pull that out and finish up what else I want to stamp on there. So I'm going to take the Magenta Madness because that's one of the colors in the designer paper. And I'm going to take the little hearts that come in that stamp set. So basically I'm using out of this stamp set the hearts and the little something to brighten your day. The other sentiments that I will be using on this card are going to come from that card kit that I talked about. So I'm going to ink this up in the Magenta Madness, and I'm just going to stamp it right below that sentiment. There we go. Now we have these cute little hearts. And now that is going to be really cute for them when they pull it out. That's what they're going to see. A little something to brighten your day with those little hearts. So now that I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and adhere that to the inside here. So I'm going to take my stamp and seal, and again, I'm going to kind of just eyeball it, and then before I actually put it completely down, I'm just going to kind of fold that over to see if I like the placement. And once I know I like it, then I'm going to go ahead and put it completely down. Okay, so now let's go ahead and finish up this pocket. So it's your choice. You can go ahead and either use liquid glue. I would use liquid glue, or I would use the tear and tape, because I don't want to use the glue, because I want to get it really close to the edge, because you have to get really close to the edge so that you have room for your gift card. And we only want to put this tape or your glue, whatever you choose to use, on the top and bottom of this pocket. So let's go ahead and get that done. But like I said, you're going to want to make sure that you do it really close to the edge, because when we close it, we still want to be able to have enough room for the gift card holder to fit. So let's go ahead and get this put down, take that off, and then we can go ahead and put that over, and then there you have it. You have your nice little pocket for your gift card. So now we can work on this side. So I'm going to take another piece of basic white, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and I also, because I used the back side of this, which was cut down to 4 by 2, I believe it is, yeah, 4 by 2. And I could use this side as well, but I think I want to use the other side, because this paper is so much fun. I want to be able to see every bit of it. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice, if you put this in here like this, again, I'm not putting it down yet, and if you close it, if I put this right up against the edge, you're going to have that gap there, and you could do that like that, but I kind of liked having a little bit of border showing on both sides. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to be having a little bit of a border there on that right hand side when you go to stamp. So I'm going to take my next sentiment, which says, wishing you brighter days ahead. And we're going to go ahead and use and you could use any color, but I'm going to go ahead and use the Bermuda Bay again. And I'm going to ink that up. And then, knowing that I'm going to have a little bit there, see, I wanted to lay that designer paper there so I kind of knew where to put my sentiment. So I'm going to try to get that evenly aligned in between there. And there you have it. So now I can go ahead and I'm going to put this down first on my card. So let me use my stamp and seal again. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this put inside like this, trying to get that even border. Then, knowing that I'm going to close that, I can go ahead and kind of look to see how much I want on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the back of that as well. And then kind of use my card closed as my guide on where to place this, so that I kind of have about an even border that I can on both sides of that designer paper, like that. So now let's work on the front of the card. So now we're going to take this other designer paper, and let me go ahead and get the dimensions for that, which is, that one is cut at 4 by 3 inches. And we're going to go ahead and put that on the front of the card. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I get to show you what I did with one of the other pieces of paper with another punch. So in that paper pack, so we've got that down. In that paper pack, and let's see if I can find it, there was this paper right here that had all these clouds on it, right? Well, there's a cloud punch in the new catalog, and that will actually punch out. It matches this paper exactly. So I went ahead and took my punch and this paper, and I punched out all these clouds. And I even punched out the ones that were kind of on the edges, because what we're going to do today, for example, is this one. If you've noticed, it's cut off there at the edge. But see, what you can do is you can place it on the edge of your paper and still be able to use that and not waste it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down, but I'm going to first decide, remember that piece that we punched out from the pocket? So we're going to be using that as well. So I need to decide where I want to place that and where I want to place this cloud. And I think, what I like about it is the paper matches, right? Even though this one is going sideways, but we're not going to see a whole lot of that because we have to still put our sentiment on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of here and put that with that edge right at the edge of that designer paper. And then on your scrap piece of basic white, you go ahead and you stamp, and I'm using the, it says no matter the weather, we're in this together, and you stamp that on your scrap paper in the Bermuda Bay ink as well. Then you're going to take and just punch it out with this bottom part of this double oval punch. And so the results is this. I went ahead and did that before we got started. And now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to this piece that we punched out, so we really have no waste at all on this card. So let's go ahead and get that attached here to the middle of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some Stampin' Dimensionals and put a couple of them on the back of this card. And we're going to place that on the front in a nice, and you know, you could do it like right next to that cloud, or you could do it in the center. I kind of like it. I think I kind of like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right about there. So there you have it. You have, no matter the weather, we're in this together. And you open it up and you'll have the gift card in there, so they won't see that. And then when you pull it out, they'll see a little something to brighten your day, wishing you brighter days ahead. So there you have it. There's the card, and I will, on my blog, I'm going to post some pictures of the ones that I made for the two churches using a different designer paper, and you'll be able to see them as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's card and how you can, you know, use your creativity to help others in their time of need. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next Monday for my next episode of MoJOY Monday. Have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.